So there's going to be some people who are listening right now who are like, I want to learn about Bitcoin. I want to learn about Bitcoin. So being the Bitcoin bull that you are, for someone who is on the fence, who has heard about it, they're seeing it, whatever, can you give a quick summary of the value proposition of Bitcoin in your eyes, and also what you think its future potential is?
Yeah. So look, the easy thing is if you take US dollars right here in the United States, they're guaranteed to lose purchasing power. And all purchasing power means is if I have $100 today, I can go to the grocery store and I can buy, let's say, 5 loaves of bread. I'll just make things up, right? If I wait 3 years and I go back with that same $100, I will not be able to buy 5 loaves of bread. Now I'll only be able to buy 4. Which literally means that the dollars became less valuable because it can buy less goods, right? So the purchasing power went down. The reason that happens is because what they are doing, they being the government and the Federal Reserve, is they are devaluing the currency. The reason, so it's systematic. It is a feature of the system. They're intentionally making the dollars worth less all the time. The reason why they're doing that is because they want to incentivize you financially to get rid of the dollars. They do not want you just to hold the dollars in your bank account. So by devaluing it, if you know that they're doing this, what happens is you will either go buy things, so you'll spend money, or you will invest money. So you'll get out of the dollar, you'll get into other things. Well, that sounds like a great plan to get people to do commerce and economic activity. The problem is 50% of Americans don't know that happens. There's 50% of people in the United States that do not understand that. Because what do? They literally just take all the money and they put in their bank account. They just leave it there. They have no investable assets. They've got no retirement. They got no anything. They just live paycheck to paycheck with all of their money in the bank. So those people think that they're saving money. I put $100. I put $100. I put $100. Well, they come back in 5 years and they're like, oh, wait a minute. Like, I thought that I was saving up to buy this house or buy this thing. But now I don't have enough money because now that thing is more expensive than it was when I first started saving because the dollar's being devalued. So guess what? The rich people, the top 50%, they know this. That's why they all invest the money. And that's why they keep getting richer, right? It's because they buy assets that go up in value because the dollar's being devalued. So that's how the US dollar works. Bitcoin is 180% opposite. There's an unlimited number of supply of dollars. There is a completely artificially limited number of Bitcoin, meaning that there will only ever be 21 million Bitcoin. So far, there's about 18.5 million out in the supply. And Bitcoin over a long period of time will continue to appreciate in US dollars because the purchasing power of Bitcoin is getting more and more valuable, right? It's gaining purchasing power. So you can think of this like a house. Why do people always say buy real estate? It always goes up over long periods of time. Well, it's because the dollars are being devalued. So the way that Bitcoin's value is measured today is it is Bitcoin over the dollar, right? Or the dollar over Bitcoin, depending on how you look at it. The dollar's being devalued and Bitcoin's purchasing power is going up. If you've ever taken an economics 101 course, there is supply and demand. There's a fixed supply. If demand increases, the only way for that to happen is the price has to go up in US dollar terms. And so that's what's happening right now is you have a bunch of Bitcoin holders who do not want to sell Bitcoin. They believe that Bitcoin is the best store of value. It is going to protect their wealth better than anything on the planet. It is a secure, scientific, computer engineered store of value. And there's never been anything like this in the world. And they put their wealth in and they hold that Bitcoin. But now all these institutions are showing up. The Fidelities, the Mass Mutuals, the public pensions, they say, wait a minute, we would like some of your Bitcoin. Yeah. And the Bitcoiners are like, I'm not selling. I'm not selling. You can't buy my Bitcoin. Yeah. And the institutions say, okay, well, that's nice that you're saying that at $19,000 Bitcoin. What if I pay you $20,000? And the Bitcoiners say, I'm not selling my Bitcoin. And then the institutions say, well, what about at 21,000, 22, 20, 25? $28,000. Yeah. And eventually somebody goes, okay, I'll sell my Bitcoin for 28,000. Yeah. But the problem is that there's so much demand. There's so many institutions now coming to the table saying like, I want Bitcoin. I want Bitcoin. And there's so few people selling that the bids just keep going up and up and up and up. And so over some period of time, this is going to continue to aggressively appreciate in price. I don't know where it tops out, but I personally believe it'll be much higher than where it is today. Yes. And then there will be a crash. Like at some point we will go from Bitcoin is undervalued to it's overvalued. There'll be another crash and then we'll go through this cycle again. What a lot of people are doing is they're all speculating on what is the low, what is the high, how fast does it happen? They're all betting all this kind of stuff, just like the stock market.
Yep.
But the hardcore Bitcoiners, they're not selling their Bitcoin.
Yep.
They are not going to sell. And what that ultimately does is the more people who say, I have acquired Bitcoin and I am going to hold it and I am not going to sell it, I don't care what price you offer it to me, it makes Bitcoin more valuable over time because it is proving the thesis that is a store of value. And so you now have two systems. You've got dollars and you've got Bitcoin. One is infinite amount. The other is a limited amount. And you get a choice. You can put 100% of your money in dollars. You can put 100% of your money in Bitcoin or anywhere in between as a split. I, in 2018, decided to go 50-50. Then I went like 95-5, right? In favor of Bitcoin. But there's a lot of people who say, you know what? I actually don't really understand this Bitcoin thing.
Sure. And
I'm going to say 99 in dollars and 1% in Bitcoin.
Sure.
That's fine too. Like just figure out what you're comfortable with, but just understand there's two systems. And if you're just holding dollars, like that's not going to be a good thing because I think it's like 22 or 23% of all US dollars in circulation have been printed in the last 12 months.
Wow. Wow. That's
like,
insane.
Like they are literally just printing and printing and printing and printing more. And they're like, hold on, let us take a water break. Okay, let's print more money, more money, more money.
And
it's
to
like,
be clear, when you say printing, you're not necessarily just talking about physically printing. You're talking about like digital dollars.
Yeah. So for those that don't know this, if Zuby and I look at our bank accounts and I'm like, I need more money. I got to go work for my money. You got to go work for your money, right? Like we got to go do something so somebody gives us money for a good or a service. The government can go in their bank account and be like, we need more. And they literally just edit the number. Like they just click and they're just like, okay, let's add a zero. Or like, let's go from like 2 trillion to 4 trillion. And they just change the number.
Yeah.
What world are we living in? And so what ends up happening is like this charade works for a while. Again, 50% of Americans or more don't even know this is going on, blah, 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 whatever. But at some point, you can't keep doing it. And what happened earlier this year is they literally did this for $3 trillion. They ran a $3 trillion marketing campaign for this whole new world. And you saw every institution wake up to it. Capital started to shift. And I think that we're just at the kind of beginning of a massive capital shift where people are going to say, whoa, I don't want to play this game anymore. And so from the US dollar system, I think they got a lot of challenges. I've talked to a bunch of people on that side in terms of like what they should do to try to slow down the bleeding and address the problems, whatever. I don't think they're going to do it. It's fine, whatever, that's their choice. But that's ultimately like what's happening right now. It's just people are realizing like this US dollar inflationary system where we just like make up money as we go and literally can edit bank accounts and stuff. Like that's a wild world that doesn't make a lot of sense to a lot of people. And so they look for alternatives and, you know, Bitcoin, gold, like it's not just Bitcoin, right? Like there's a bunch of other things that people can look at. And it really depends on your risk profile and kind of how comfortable you are with the different assets. But that's what's happening right now.
No doubt, man. I mean, I don't know. I know people love price predictions, of course, but do you have, are you willing to give a public price prediction for where you think Bitcoin is going to go, say within the next 2 years? Okay, 12. Okay, do 12 months. Do 12 months.
So I haven't changed this from after I said it's going to go to 3, and then it's going to go back to 10. That happened. Then everyone was like, well, what happens next? And I was like, well, I don't know. Like, let me go think about it. Went, thought about it. And I said, this is maybe like 2019. I said by the end of 2021, it'll hit $100,000. Right now, when I wrote it, I literally had people who were like, not quite death threats, but pretty dang close, like pretty close, to the point where if like I misread this a little bit, like that's a death threat type thing. And they were just like, you're an idiot. And I was like, okay. So it was not a popular idea, like whatever. Now, fast forward, 18 months, I'm like the most conservative guy in the room. There's people out here, 250, 300. I saw somebody 500. Like, again, I'm just going to stick with 100K. We're about, 25, 30% of the way there. I feel good that we're going to hit that. I'm going to stay there. But
we're on the same page there. It's funny because I've got a WhatsApp I've got a WhatsApp chat group with some of my university friends.
Okay.
And because everyone, people got hype around, in the 2017 crypto peak, right? People started getting interested, started getting hype or whatever. And then, of course, there was the whole bear market. And I was the hardcore one who was like researching every day and sticking to my guns. I have a message on there from, I think, February 2018, predicting 100,000 by end of 2021.
Woo! I think you're gonna be right there, my friend.
And it's in the WhatsApp chat, so it's saved there. So I have evidence that I said this, and that's obviously when the market was bleeding out as well. So everyone was like, because really my friends were like, "Dude, I hope you sold. Like, I hope you sold." I'm like, I haven't sold anything. I'm buying more.
I do not scam. Put some respect on my name. Sick like a bang, click and I bang. Y'all gonna remember the name.